This PlayStation controller has got stick drift. Let's see if we can fix it and upgrade it to the Hall effect joysticks instead. So the customer says the right analog stick is knackered, it's showing stick drift. So let's have a quick look, plug it in. See, the left one's working fine, but the right one, oh, there we go. The right one is absolutely getting stick drift. So you can see it'll go around like that, but there we go, not touching it. That will make your character look all over the place while you're not moving the joysticks. So let's get this taken apart and get it replaced with the Hall effect. It's really simple to take these apart. We've got 4 screws to get into the middle of it, and then we can start taking a proper look at it. So there's a lot of plastic clips. We take off the L1 and R1. We get a little spudger underneath here, and let's just get this taken off. This is going to give us the screws. Going to be a bit fiddly sometimes. There we go. This is going to give us the 4 screws to undo to be able to get into the center. With these as well, which one thing I do like, if I can find it, there we are. One thing I do like about these controllers, they just use a simple Phillips head. When it comes to things like Xbox controllers, they do use 2 different types of Torx heads, which can be a bit of a pain to use. If if most people have a Phillips, a lot of people don't have Torx screw heads, so it's worth investing in some if you do have Xbox. But with PlayStation controllers, we are nice and easy. So there's the four screws out there. We see 2 come out just with the L1 and R1. There we go, and the 2 out of the bottom handle bits here. Then we have 2 little clips here which we just need to push away from the body and then open it up. This can be a bit fiddly sometimes because there are clips you need to push away. There we go. So we've got it open. So you see the inside of the controller here. So we've got the battery. So if you ever need to change a battery, it is that simple to do. Battery just comes out like that. You can get better batteries, much better batteries on Amazon. Really simple, really easy. So if you guys are looking to upgrade your batteries, it's that easy to do. You just pop your new one straight back in, push it into the little holder there, and then put it all back together. Simple. Back to it. So there's another screw here just inside, that's holding in the battery compartment, and I believe, not 100% sure of this, but I believe that then needs to be in place for the controller to work properly because of grounding. So make sure you replace that screw if you do take them out. So you can see a couple of ribbons here. So you want to be really careful with these ribbons because they are very delicate. There you are. So this is a small microphone that sits in the front of the controller that you see. So make sure you don't lose that. And with that off, the battery compartment just comes off nice and easy. So we've got a few more ribbons. So we got the top ribbon cable connects the front. We've got 2 side ribbon cables and the bottom ribbon cable. And the bottom ribbon cable. Easy enough to take off your hands. Just make sure you put them straight out. Don't try and bend them to the side. So with those out now, we need to turn on the soldering iron. There we go, beep. So now we do have, there are loads of variations with the Xbox, PlayStation controllers in fact. So this one here you can see has 4 different colored wires. There are some which just have the black and red. So depending on your board variation, this may look slightly different, but as long as you know which ones go in which slot, they're really easy to put back. A little bit of flux just to get the solder running nicely. Or it's a new tube, you can tell it's really hard to push down. First things first, guys, let's get this untangled away from my microscope. Right then, so as long as you know which ones came out where. So we got yellow at the top, then green, then black, and then red. So let's get this off. I keep looking across to my monitor because I want to make sure we focus nice. It's good to be back doing videos. It's been a long while since I've done my last long form video. I mean, I done 2 long form videos for YouTube as I made the channel, and then kind of dropped off because I ended up doing loads of different repairs. But the issue I had was I just didn't have the room to be able to record. But I've got a nice workshop now, so hopefully this just means the beginning of the channel. So if you guys are going to be enjoying this kind of content, it's not going to be perfectly polished. It's not going to be one of these YouTube channels which are, you know, massive productions and they're going to have everything polished, looking good and professional. Far from fully professional. But what I'm going to do is walk through some processes of things I do. Am I a pro at this? Absolutely not. Have I got all the expertise and experience? Absolutely not. But I enjoy it. And I think the biggest thing to be able to do with any hobby or anything you set up as a business is to enjoy it. So hopefully you guys will enjoy watching. So this is the board. We've got the board out now. Really basic. Nice little small board. There is only one board on these. The Xbox controllers do have 2. There's only one board on these. You can just pull these thumbsticks off. Really easy. Let's get them off there. And then you can see the 2 original potentiometers, joysticks. So Hall effect joysticks, here we go. So these are Hall effect joysticks I've got. So these have, the Hall effect joysticks do not have the potentiometers like these original ones do. So you can see there's moving parts. Little white piece there moves as, there we go. As I move it, the white pieces move. That rubs on a carbon track, and the carbon track then understands how you move in the controller so that you move your character. Whereas these ones use magnets. So instead of having a carbon track, which eventually wears down over time, these use magnets, which, don't get me wrong, magnets can obviously still go wrong. They can still eventually cause stick drift for different issues within the joysticks, but a lot less likely. So upgrading things like Hall effect is great. TMR joysticks are just that much better than the Hall effect, but the customer wants Hall effect, so we're happy with Hall effect. So let's get these ones off. Right, so a bit of flux on you now. Let's get it. Board heated up. A new little holder for my soldering wire, which is quite weird because I'm normally having to hold the whole thing. So if I look a bit weird with this, that's why I started investing in a few different bits and got to get used to it. So all I'm doing here is swapping out some of the original solder with my leaded solder, because as everyone knows, leaded solder melts a little bit easier and a lower temp, so it's a bit easier to work with. So all this is going to do is just flood it a little bit and just give it that little bit better workability. So with that now, time for the loud bit. We're going to use hot air and get these potentiometers off. What I'm going to do here is just heat up the solder with my iron at the same time as heating the board up. It's just going to mean I can focus that heat a little bit more on the bits I want to, because you've really got to watch out for these plastic bits. You've got lots of plastic connectors that the ribbons click onto. You really want to make sure you don't melt those, because that turns a quick 20-minute job into a much longer job. Just gonna wait for that solder to melt, keep the air moving. There we go, that's gone. Do the same for the other side. You've got 2 options here now. You can go really easy. You can just heat this up, push these ones up from underneath, keep the solder that's on there as well. But what I like to do, just to make sure it connects really well, it's a good job. If I was doing it for myself, I would just swap them out nice and easy. But with the customers one, I want to make sure that the solder's really good. It's going to hold. There's going to be no issues going forward. So the plan is now to heat this up, the solder sucker the holes out, and then we can replace it properly, fully. So now that we have all of the holes emptied of solder, let's give it a good clean down, ready to fit the new ones. So a bit of ISO, a nice foam pad that I've got. You can use cotton buds, no issue, but these, I find these are really good for not leaving any bits of cotton around the place. Give them a good wipe down just to get rid of any leftover flux and tidy the area up a little bit. Once that's done, we should be ready to put on the Hall effect joysticks. So Hall effect then, so these go, obviously make sure you put them up the right way. Sometimes what you might find is these little pins are slightly bent. Only slightly, just need to realign them a little bit just to make sure they go into the slots well. That's the upside, see, of making sure you empty out the holes first, because if you don't and you're trying to push them back up, sometimes if those pins aren't right, you're then going to end up with solder hitting the pins, which means you've got to clean the pins down when you want to put them back in properly. And it just saves the hassle. So once they're in, make sure they're pushed in fully. Same with this one. So a bit of flux now. It's going to do two things. This flux is, it's going to help to the solder to adhere to both pad and pin really nicely, but also helps to hold it in place. A little bit of stickiness keeps it in place for us. So now I'm just going to solder each pin. So after a bit of tweaking, we've got it sorted, so it's back looking a lot better there now and sorted. So thumbsticks go back on. And this goes back into the controller. So a bit awkward here because you've got to make sure none of the wires get caught, none of the ribbons get caught. Get this one down here, and the one on the top. So once they're all through, give them a bit of a wiggle. So what I'll do now is get all the ribbons back in. Let's get these soldered back on. So the wires now have got to be soldered on again and making sure we put them in the right place. Can be a bit fiddly, move the things around. Get the battery compartment in. Get that screwed down, make sure everything's sitting nicely. And this is where we can get to testing, just to make sure all the buttons and everything works before we recalibrate. Don't forget the other mic. So that goes in there. It's a bit fiddly, but you just need to slot this back into there's a little slot that it goes into there. You gotta be really careful with these ribbons because they are very delicate. It's not sitting in there yet. There we go. There we go. Let's go back on. Okay, with them on, let's get the screws back in, get it put together and get it tested. Before I put this on, I'm going to get it plugged in, get it tested and see how it works. Right then, so that's the controller calibrated. We can see now absolutely no stick drift. Flies back straight into the center, which is what we're looking at, see? Lovely job. Amazing. So that's the controller done, ready to go back to its owner. Hall effect sticks upgraded, no stick drift, ready for some epic games. Guys, if you've liked this video, give me a like, give me a subscribe, pop a comment in, let me know you've watched it to the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.